What's up guys, and welcome back to Adventure Built. Build not my new 4th Gen Tacoma on 37s here. I have been on the hunt for a lightweight option for jacking up the vehicle for off-road recovery as well as simple tire changes out on the road. Now I think I found it. Let's check it out. This right here is the factory Toyota jack, and it is at max extension here, and it might be 18-20 inches long. But when I put it up under the axle, I get about 1 inch of lift, which is not going to get these tires off the ground if I do get a flat with this thing here. Plus, I really don't trust it either way. This is what I found that I'm hoping to replace this with as something that I can just keep in the truck all the time. It's not going to be heavy and it's not going to take up a lot of room, and it's going to be reliable, easy to use. I have a high lift jack that I've had for like 25 years, and I think I've used it maybe a half dozen times, most of which was for yard work, getting roots out of the ground and whatnot. And it's just very, very complicated. And I'm really hoping this is just simple to use. That way I don't have to relearn it every time like I do the high lift. Here's the components of this kit. You basically have a massive hydraulic jack. This bottom part is an extension that unscrews. That way, if you want it low to the ground, you can just position it just like so. You have a base that screws into the extension. Then you have the top of the jack. You have your 2-section handle. And then you have this, which is a wheel extension. You can put this on your wheel to actually pull it up out of the ground for, say, sand and mud, ice, snow recovery. And I definitely want to test this out. I really like the fact that everything is really nicely coated in this rubber coating so you don't scratch your wheels pulling them out of the sand. But we're going to test this out today if I can find some really good, nice soft sand. Reading through the directions really quick, let's get this thing assembled. We're going to start with the body of the jack. Then we're going to add on the base extension. Then we're going to add on the base. Then we're going to put in the supporting rod. It just slides in. The pin for it is captured here next to the jack. And then you can obviously choose your height and slide that right in just like that. Now we're going to assemble the 2-piece handle. They just slide in and capture, and then it just notches into this end here. And that's it. It's pretty simple. Obviously, there's no comparison. This is much beefier. It's got a much larger base. This is going to be able to be an actual off-road recovery jack, where the factory jack, not so much. So this thing is completely out of here. The one thing that I will say that I was a little apprehensive about is, yes, it is very tall. Now, lowering this top rod down still makes it very high. I wouldn't be able to put this under the axle if I needed to jack up just one side of the axle. However, you can actually remove this base and put the jack on the ground, which is more than enough room to get this up under the axle and still lift it up. And even if you want to get it a little bit higher, you can do so. It really is very adjustable. Here's some fun facts I just found out about this. It's got a 12-inch minimum height, a 44 7/10 inch max height. It has a 19,400 pound capacity. It's very impressive. And it weighs 18 pounds, which is a perfect weight for this kind of jack. So this jack actually works great with the off-road setup I have now, but because it is more of a standard type bottle jack, you can just set this under your axle and use that to push things up. So you don't necessarily have to have these recovery points, but let's use them because they're here, because I want to see what this thing can lift. I'm going to place the jack close to my jacking point here, which is up under the bumper on the factory Tacoma. Now, where the handle goes is actually in the wrong position, so I'm going to spin the jack around. Luckily, this thing spins completely around. So actually, I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to use the handle because it's adjustable and get that kind of exactly where I need it. Situate that right there. Take out my little handle part here. Assemble that, and then start jacking. All right, this is crazy. This is much higher than I thought. I only thought I was going to go this high. I didn't realize there's a second system in there that got it even higher. Well, obviously the tire is well off the ground now. Wow. It's very stable. Still have 3 tires on the ground. This back tire's off the ground. I dig it. It's not even at full extension, and I would say that it's probably 5-6 inches off the ground. This thing is pretty badass. Now to lower it, all we're gonna do is take the handle here, put it inside this chuck on the side of the jack, and just slowly release the hydraulic pressure. If at any point you want to stop it, you just twist it back clockwise, which will lock it back out again. Now we're going to twist counterclockwise and slowly lower it. This is very responsive. I am very impressed with the quality of this thing. It's a very controlled lowering. People get hurt every year from jacks like this, either falling out from underneath a vehicle or coming down too fast when someone's not ready and causing damage and or injury. This thing is cool. All right, let's try the rock slider. Obviously with the jack, even at its lowest setting with the extension base on there, it is higher than what the rock slider needs. So I have my microfiber here. Now the only thing that I kind of wish that Bunker Industries would do is make this base plate be able to screw on here, because right now I'm going to put this on the ground, but then I don't want things to get up in these threads and muck them up. So I have this microfiber towel. I'm just going to kind of set it right here. Then I'm going to raise this up as high as I can, give me a good head start. Works great. I love this thing. It's badass. And again, lowering it, we're just going to take our handle here, put it onto the release valve, which is right here, spin it counterclockwise. Now listen for this really cool hydraulic sound it makes. That's really cool. Keep in mind, because this is a hydraulic jack, it needs that downward pressure to get it all the way compressed. Right now it won't budge because it's still pinched underneath the rock slider in the ground, even though everything is released. So let me go ahead and open this all the way up. And it's gonna take my hand, I'm just gonna push down. It compresses. And I like to keep it in the tight position. You don't necessarily need it, but it just makes me feel better. And that's what I wanna do. So that's what I'm gonna do. Same idea as the rear, except I have it pinched up under the steel Ironman 4x4 raid front bumper insert here. All right, it's lifting up, but things are kind of starting to creak. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop here. Let's put it under the axle and see if we can actually get it all the way under an axle. Obviously had to take the base off of the jack. Gonna slide it under. It's still a little high. We're gonna lower it 1 pin. All right, tires off the ground. That was quick and easy. Now, the only reason that I'm still under here is because obviously the tires are all on. Even if this did fall, I'm completely safe that the tires are going to catch it. If I were to pull a tire off to swap it though, there's no way in the world that I'd be sitting under this vehicle just because it's on a single point, and that's a recipe for death. And this right here is that original high jack that I've had since the late 90s. And I don't even know why I've kept it, because like I said, I pretty much only use it to pull out tree stumps and whatnot from the ground. It is pretty disgusting, really complicated to use. And for the most part, it just sits in my pole barn. This is significantly better. I think this weighs like 60 pounds and it's just very unruly to use. This 18 pounds, and yeah, this is $100 and this is $300. This is just a really cheap way to die. This is awesome. Let's go see if we can get the new Tacoma stuck in some soft sand and see if this will get us out of a predicament. You're not gonna believe this, but finding sand in Northwest Montana is definitely not the easiest thing. This is the closest thing we have. This is on the shoreline of Lake Koocanusa. Unfortunately, the lake is still really high, so we don't have any real beach exposed that I'm able to drive on that's actually soft and dry, so let's simulate. Now we're going to be using this accessory here that came with the jack. And the idea behind this is that if this tire is buried down to say here, and you only want to lift this tire up, you don't want to grab the bumper and have to get all the suspension out as well. You just want the tire out. You're basically going to hook this on the inner lip of your wheel. And obviously this isn't going to work on every single wheel. And then it presses up against the tire, and then you're able to jack just kind of straight up on everything. Let's try it. It works. And obviously just be very cautious with this, because this is not the best situation. You're definitely in a recovery situation, so you have to get out. And if this is all you have, it will definitely work. But again, you can tell these hooks, they're just barely hooked up in here on this wheel. So it could really just kind of pop out. So just be very careful. Second part of this is once you get this tire up out of the sand or the snow or the mud or whatever it is that's hanging you up, fill it back in with something like rocks or sticks or sand or snow, whatever you need to be able to get back on the road. Then you just release this, you're back on your way. Traditionally, I have something negative to say about most things because nothing is perfect. However, I really think this is nearly perfect. I mean, the only thing that could be better is if there was a way to store the handle on the unit itself, like maybe attachment points, like little clips to get the little metal round handle parts, maybe here and here, just so it's all one package. Other than that, this thing is perfect. I love it. I mean, even the price point, it's $298. I mean, you can't argue with that. My Harbor Freight 1.5 ton jack that I just got, that was like $275, and it's significantly larger and heavier, which is what I was trying to get rid of going with this. Let me know what you guys think. Comment below. Is this something that you would want in your rig? And is there any issues that you're seeing that I'm not seeing? Are there problems that are popping up in your head? And we'll work through it together. Be sure to like, be sure to subscribe. Best way to support channels, buy Adventure Belt merch, and I will see you guys next time.